Hello, so on today's video, we will be discussing about how to install and configure a domain controller on Windows Server. You can use various VirtualBox like Oracle VirtualBox, Hyper-V, or VMware. It depends on what your preference are. For today's demonstration purpose, we are going to use our lab to configure a domain controller on Windows Server 2019. So our lab is ready. I'm going to log in as an administrator here. So this is the local account for Windows Server 2019. Okay, so our lab is almost ready. So it is asked, you want to allow a PC to be discovered by other PC and devices on this network? For now, we are going to hit no. So first thing first, we are going to go on local server here and change the computer name. Okay. Go on change and computer name. So we are going to make this Windows Server as a domain controller. So I'm going to specify this as an DC1 now and hit OK. All right, so it will ask you for the restart your computer to apply all of those changes you just made. For now, we are going to restart our Windows Server. It's OK. Close. And we are going to restart now. All right, I just restart the Windows Server. Now I'm going to log in as a local account administrator. Password for administrator. So before doing anything on the Windows Server, we have to configure our network. So I think we have automatically assigned our IP address from DHCP server, but for the any server, you want to make your server IP as a static, not a dynamic. So we are going on search command, run and type ncpa.cpl. And now we are going to go in properties and uncheck this IPv6 and double click on IPv4. And now this is the IPv4 properties. So in here, we are going to assign static IP for our Windows server. So use the following IP. So we are going to assign our IP address depend on your network. So for this server, I'm going to assign 192.168.78.10, and this is my subnet max. And for the default gateway, assign your default gateway. Okay, so preferred DNS, you can put the server IP address, the domain controller IP address. So we are going to make this server as in domain controller. So I'm going to specify the IP of this server, which is 192.168.78.10. And we don't have an alternate DNS server for now. So for now, we are going to press OK. Now click on OK. So at this time, you don't have a network because we did not provide DNS server. We mentioned that our DNS server is this domain controller. So we are going to install domain controller. We also have the DNS server. We are going to make this domain controller or make this Windows server as a domain controller. So we don't have internet access now. Okay, so everything look good. Now I can go to the local server and check my IP address here. And before doing anything, I'm going to off this security option here just for now. Okay, everything looks fine. Now we can install and configure domain controller on Windows Server 2019. So before we start, it is important to understand what is domain controller is and why it is used. So a domain controller is a server that can manage all user accounts and permission in the network. So it also provides a central location to manage and authenticate user in the network. With that said, let's get started. So first of all, you can go to the window icon and click on Server Manager. Okay, so from here, this is the center console for the Server Manager. Here you can install many server. You can add role and features. So click on Manage. Click on Add Role and Features. And this is the wizard for add role and features. So before you begin, this is a simply instruction about the add role and features. Hit next. So installation type will be role based or feature based installation. Hit next. And this is our server name, IP, and the operating system. Hit next. And here you can specify what you want to install. So there are many role and feature you can install on this server. You can install Active Directory Certificate Services, Active Directory Domain Services, which we are going to use for this video. So that is, we are going to configure domain controller. So there you can also specify other features. So for now, we are going to select Active Directory Domain Services. And for this specific features, I have to install these features too. So just click on Add Features and hit Next. Now we are going to use .NET Framework 4.7. Hit Next. And this is the information about the Active Directory Domain Services. So it stores information about users and computers and other devices on the network. So Active Directory helps administrators securely manage this information and facilitates sources sharing and collaboration between users. Hit next. So this is the confirmation. You want to restart this server if automatically if required. You can choose this option. For now, I'm not going to select this option. Just hit install. Okay, it will take some times to install all of those role and features. Then after installing the domain controller, we have to configure the domain controller. Okay, so we are just waiting for this process to finish. So this installation process will take a few minutes. Once it is complete, the server need to restart. So it's just finished the installation process. Now you can restart the server. Or you can also promote this server and at least restart it later. So for now, we are going to restart our server. All right, so I just restart the server. Now I'm going to specify my password. Okay. Let's wait for a couple of seconds to load our server here. As you can see here, there is an allo sign, says notification. Hit the flag icon, and here it says post deployment configuration. So here we can promote this server to the domain controller. All right, select, click on promote this server to a domain controller. Okay, now we are going to configure domain controller. All right. So first of all, we have this deployment configuration wizard. So for the first domain controller, if it is the new or the first one on your Windows server or on your network, we are going to select add new forest. Okay, so add new forest is entirely the root domain name. So the root domain server. Now we are going to specify the name of the root domain name. Our domain controller name is IT skill up dot online. Click on next. Now this is the functional label. So for the functional label, we have Windows Server 26. Just select the latest Windows Server version. So for me, this is Windows Server 26, and same for the domain function label. And we are going to specify the password for the directory services restored mode. All right, so after I specify the password, click on next. Now a delegation for this DNS server cannot be created because the authority parent zones cannot be found. We don't have to do any configuration on DNS option for now, so simply ignore it. Okay, click on next. So in this additional option, it verify the net BIOS name assigned to the domain and check if it is necessary. So our net BIOS domain name will be IT skill up. Okay, click on next. All right, so this is the database for the Active Directory domain services. So we have the database folder on NTDS, log file folder on NTDS, and sysvol folder on sysvol. So you are going to see this folder when we complete this process. So now click on next. In here, if you want to review or check your script to automate additional installation, you can also click on view script, sorry. And this is the script for the domain controller. So this is the PowerShell script. You can also save this script if you like it. For now, we are going to ignore this one. We just click on next. And in here, it is checking the prerequisites required for the configuration process. So if there is any prerequisites required for the configuration, it will check for the prerequisites. So when you see the green tick mark, so it says prerequisites check passed successfully. So I can click on install. So I can simply click on install and installation process will be begin. So it will take some time to install these domain services. We are just waiting for it to complete this installation process. As you can see here, our internet, we just got the internet. It is connected now because it created that DNS on this server. So if you go on command prompt and type ipconfig/all. Here you can see our DNS server is our own this window server. So we created, install and configure a domain controller as well as DNS server. So our DNS server is 192.168.78.10. So just now our installation process is completed. So we are going to restart our server one more time. So our domain controller is ready. Here you can see our domain name IT Skill Up, and now we are going to use our domain accounts. So it is administrator. Now we successfully install our domain controller. Now we are going to check whether it is working or not. So for this, just wait for the server is fully loaded. Okay. So here you can see there is manage, where you can add role and features, remove it, and you can also add server. All of the server role and features are on the manage settings. And there is another section is tools, where you have all of these settings, which is ready to configure it, or you want to change different settings on the Windows server. You can go on tool option. So for the Active Directory domain controller, we can check on Active Directory users in computer. Just click on Active Directory users in computer. Here you can see that our domain controller is ready, right? So we have all of these computers, domain controller, all of these properties here. So if you want to create some user, you can create OU, and then you can put the users on the specific OU. So for now, I'm going to create some OU. OU is organizational unit. Okay. New organizational unit. So the name of this organization unit will be, for now, IT support. And I'm just going to uncheck this option because it will not let me delete if I want to delete it later. And hit OK. So here you can see IT support. Or also you can create, employees, and then click on OK, and then put this one in employee. Okay, so under employee, we have IT support, and you can create other organized unit. Like if you have a sales department, then you can create sales. If you have HR department, you can create HR. If you have marketing department, you can create marketing. Okay, fine. So we just created different OU on our domain. So if you want to create some users, now we are going to create one user in IT support. Click on new and users. Fine. Now we have to specify the first name of the user. Let's say for now we have our user John and his last name is Smith. And this is the user login name. It depends on the company policy what user login name you want to create. So for now, I'm going to use his first name and last name. Okay, now click on next. So this will be the login name. ID SkillUp John Smith. Hit on next. Now you can specify the password for the user. So for now, I'm going to click on password never expire. If you are on production environment, you have to check this box. It says user must change password on next login because we don't want to know your password, right? Okay, so for the demonstration purpose, I'm going to select a new password never expires. Click on next, finish. Now we have this user John Smith created. If you go on properties, you can check John Smith properties. So if there is address of the company, you can specify his office. He work on IP support. Sorry. Support. You can specify his phone number. Email. Email will be john.smith IT scale up online. All right, so you can also specify the address and accounts. Here you can choose the login hours for this specific user in his profile, telephone, organization. The job title is IT support. Department is IT. Company is IT skill, IT skill. Okay. And manager name is. So after finishing all of those information, you can simply click on apply and hit OK. Now we have just created one user, John Smith. So if you go on computers, we don't have anything right now because this domain controller is brand new and nothing is connected on this domain controller. Now we are going to connect our PC to this domain controller. So my PC is ready. So this is the local account. Okay. So our PC is not connected to our domain controller. So if you click on window icon, right click and go to system, and under the advanced settings here, you can check the PC name, and if you go on computer name here, you can change the PC name and member of. So here you can see the domain. So for now, I'm going to change the computer name to, let's say this PC belongs to sales PC. Okay, okay, let's say PC1. All right, so and in the member of, you can specify our newly created domain controller, IT skill dot online. I guess that's my domain controller. Okay, no, that's not my domain controller. Let's go ahead on our domain controller. If you go and right in the server and local server, it is IT skill up dot online. Okay, IT skill up dot online. All right, click on OK. So this issue is the Active Directory domain controller could not be contacted. So we can check, we can do troubleshoot on this computer. Let's go ahead and go and run command and type ncpa.cpl, or you can also open the command prompt and check our IP config/all. So here, this is our, and the domain controller is the different domain controller. That's why DNS server is different. So that's why it is not able to contact our domain controller. So we are going to change some settings on our IP. So go on, uncheck this IPv6, click on IPv4. Here you can specify our domain controller. So our domain controller is .10. Okay. Let's go on this setting one more time. Go on advanced system settings, computer name, change. Say this one is PC1, and our domain will be itskillup.online. All right, so this is the Windows security where you have to specify the username and password. So I'm just going to use our domain controller accounts as an administrator. So IT skill up/administrator, and the password. Okay, password didn't match. All right. Administrator, and then password is 123. All right. So here, this is the welcome message. It says, welcome to the itskillup.online domain. Click on OK. Now we are going to restart this PC. Restart now. All right. So I just restarted my PC. Now, if you go on other users, now you can see our domain controller name, itskillup. So in the domain controller back in here, we just created one user, John Smith. Now we are going to use this user to log in on the Windows 10 PC. So his name is John.Smith. So the login name will be John.Smith, and then password will be your John Smith password. All right, so it is getting ready for the user. This might take several minutes. I think it will take just 1 minute. All right, so we just log in on this user PC. So if you go back to the command prompt, and then if you check in here, you can see the username John.Smith. If you say who am I, then we have the full domain controller and then username. And if you do host name, and we have this PC1. Okay, now this user is ready for the Windows PC to use. So if you want to change password, suppose if the user forget their password, you can just go on a specific user who wants to change the password. Just right click and go on properties, and you can go on, right click on here and reset password. And here you can reset password for the specific user. All right, so today we install and configure domain controller and also join our PC to the domain controller. I just want to give you, while we installing the domain controller, it will automatically install DNS server. If we go on tools and click on DNS, here we can see DC1. If you expand this DC1, so this is our DNS server. All right, So here you can create forward lookup zones, reverse lookup zones, all of these setting for DNS. So this is the DNS manager. Okay, so all right, so for this video we did install and configure domain controller and also join PC to the domain. That's all. Thank you.